What's going on, everybody? How we doing? Thank you for coming in and hanging out. I wanted to try this because when I was itching to rip some 2020 Bowman Draft, I'll be honest, this is probably one of my number one guilty pleasures. It's been a while since I've really emptied out. There's a stretch where I think it was probably, obviously not long after the draft, but COVID time towards the end of it, way too much time on my hands. Oh, is it peaking a little bit? Thank you. Give me a second. My fault. Hold on. That's why I need Jack. Jack is the Oh, there we go. How am I doing now? I'm good now? Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Thank you. If anything else is off, let me know because I am not very tech savvy and we're using OBS for this. OBS is some crazy stuff. Oh, really? Is it still? Okay. How about now? Alex, damn it. How about now? Good. Okay. I think honestly it is connected to the phone. Again, I am brutal with tech, but thank you for the feedback. What's up, Mark? How we doing, dude? I might need to shut down and fire back up in a second here. Okay, that's still not very good, Alex. That's still not very good. The problem is I don't think it's the mic. I think it's connected to my phone for audio right now. Hold on. Don't scream. Hard to do that. I'm not great at keeping the voice down. Let me play around with this. And the problem is I'm also close to the phone. So tell me if it's louder right now or louder right now. 1, 2. But I think I should be good. If it sounds good right now, I can roll like this. But appreciate you guys bearing with me. Sorry about that. Let me know if this volume's good. And we got that is insane. I got 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I will just comfortably sit back here. This sound good? Sorry, I should have audio tested before this probably. But yeah, I mean, I'm always good for some technical difficulties. Draft names, yeah, we're good now. You couldn't be much further from me at this point. Sound is good. Let me know how we sound. If not, I'll just legit pause it and redo it. Let me know if it's a little too loud as well. And I can just keep adjusting. But if it sounds good right now, okay, I'll keep it at a lower volume. Ben Zobrist, look, if there was going to be a Hall of Fame spot for utility, I mean, that's the guy that's got to lead the way. Now I'm not going to be able to open this box, huh? I'm just going to pencil this thing out. But like I was saying, this was my number one guilty pleasure when it comes to opening stuff. 2020 Bowman Draft, I think, was like my job on the Cape. I was, with the Katuitt Kettleers, it was unbelievably fun out there watching Nick Gonzalez just legitimately dominate it. And I was like, I need to buy every Nick Gonzalez card possible. So that's where I started just chasing in this product, looking for all of the Bowman Draft 2020 I could find. The product just got more expensive and more expensive and more expensive. And it got to the point where I got priced out. Now it's back down and affordable again. So I figured, why not do a little rip here and have some fun? I don't know about rushing, man. The tough part with rushing is like he absolutely is ready for a chance with this. Connor Phillips, Mitchell Parker had a nice year last year. But it just seems very clear that they're in no hurry to give him an opportunity, even after giving him the reps in left field, right? Like there's really not even a path for him to get reps in left field now. Signing Conforto was a bit of a surprise. There's my guy, Nikki G. That was a big surprise to me to go get a Conforto when you have Dalton Rushing continuing to get reps out there in the outfield. So I honestly don't see a path to him getting a ton of reps this season unless they have him kind of roving around and playing a little bit of outfield backup / third string catcher. Ooh, nice little O'Neill Cruz refractor there. Lofton refractor. Oh, this one's for you. Alex, you want me to send this to you? I'll send that to you. Startup Dynasty League. Scooble, for sure. Look, I think Sasaki could be an absolute monster. Don't get me wrong. But like there's a lot of implied risk that's being, overlooked here. This is a guy that's had a long history of health issues. And like, I know pitching is risky in general, but we're talking about a guy that, has come off of multiple seasons here where he has not been able to really pitch the entirety of the season. Now you're going to be throwing with a new ball. I think the Dodgers are going to be very careful with him. I just think you have a chance to grab one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. Oh, God. You have a chance to grab one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. I'm going to go take one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. I am going to sit as far away as possible. There you go, Alex. This is all yours as well. Levi Prater. Got to see him throw on the Cape as well. Zobrist is sneaky, crazy WAR guy. Like crazy WAR numbers there. Like off of WAR, he could be in there. But it's just, I think you have to have that. That's where the cumulative offensive numbers really matter. And I just think you're looking at a guy that's, Zach Bean. I'll go to my guy, Jack McMullen. I'm going to give away some of these too. Some of the color that I pull, I'll be giving out. I'm glad somebody knew the Levi Prater four-finger story. Four-finger legend. But I think if you're truly looking at a well-rounded baseball player and like who was one of the best, sad story here with Espino, like Zobrist was a Hall of Fame baseball player. I do think that's a valid case. And shout out to Foolish Bailey for kind of leading the charge on that. Another guy that was a big reason why I was buying this product. Casey Schmidt, he was so much fun to watch and to it. Kirby, Reese Hines, Hudson Haskin, Griswell, Raya. No one's here for paper, right? There's Ed Howard. Oh, Gage Workman, Rule 5 pick. Jared Jones. Sneaky draft, man. We want the crochet auto here. Can you really be inducted as a utility? I don't think that's really possible as much as I do love it. It would start to move the goalposts, I think, quite a bit. Like, it becomes a larger topic there, I think. I'm just going to separate the paper here. Because it's like, shouldn't you just be good enough to dominate at one spot? Zobrist is the one exception because he played freaking everywhere. But and he brought value everywhere. But most guys, it's like because they didn't dominate enough at one spot or they just didn't provide enough offensive values, they had to move you around. Zach Daniels, Brennan Davis, sneaky ad by the Yankees in AAA. I do think that's a little low for Weatherholt. I mean, Pipeline's obviously got some great people, that are behind it there and they know what they're doing. But, I do find myself a little bit higher than the industry, or at least a little bit higher than most on Jay Groom, on JJ Weatherholt. I just, everything that people love about Travis Bazzana, I think you can apply a lot of that to Weatherholt. Of course, there's a little bit more injury concern, but Weatherholt has a chance to stick it short. He hits the ball a little bit harder. The contact rates are not far off. Where's my auto? And he's, I think, just a little bit more, like, obviously Bazana's floor being higher and the approach and everything is great, but there's a lot of the same things that Weatherholt does. And then you have a chance to stick it short. Again, Bazana, there's a lot of intangibles you can't match. The track record of hitting is ridiculous. I'm not saying he's better than Bazana, but it's not that far off. And I think it should be considered a little bit closer in that regard. This has to be the auto, by the way. This has to be the auto. A lefty shortstop. Hoffman. Ciccone, the newest Guardian. Hauver. Hankins. Just confirming again, audio is good. Oh, what a sad one. What a sad story here. I'm hoping he can come back and surprise some people. Oh, man. There's our first auto. Logan Hoffman. Yippee. Yippee. I'll give that away to a Pirates fan that's listening. Shane Sasaki, opening day center fielder. See, that's something that I think my guy Alex Farrer would be saying. That's not a comment I'd be expecting from anybody else. I like Sasaki. He's a fun player, but the offense really tapered off at the upper levels. I'm going to go with Lorenzo only because, in terms of which bat I like more, only because he made a tangible adjustment mechanically from both sides of the plate at the end of last year. And I really think that resulted in the strong finish. Ooh, nice little Jarren Duran. It's paper, but it's a $4.99. It really resulted in him making better swing decisions, hitting the ball at better angles, doing a lot of different things that I think we were kind of waiting to see. With the approach, the power, and the fact that he's doing it from both sides of the plate, he's done it at more challenging levels at this point. I would bet on, there's an Austin Wells. I would bet on Lorenzo at this point. Isbell, Connor Phillips. Lorenzo, nice little PCA. Where are you at, Mark? Do you miss him? A little bit? I know you're spoiled if you're still in here. No, you Mets fans are spoiled, but man, that one's hard to live down. I know obviously you got the right guy in charge now, so it is what it is, but whew, that one is tough. Landon Knack. Sneaky good arms in this class, man. It's a weird draft, but some sneaky good arms. Groom. Schmidt refractor, four-finger legend, Levi Prater, Andrew Vaughn, Tanner Burns, Hans Kraus. Look how skinny Josh Young looked here. He's put on some strength since then. Sammy Infante. Will Klein recently acquired. And then more paper. We are giving away, I'm going to find out a good way for me to give away that Pirates auto. I do think you see Eldridge this year. Everything that they have done timing-wise and pacing-wise, I think was all, there we go. It's paper, but there's a crochet. I think was with the idea of having him be big league ready at some point this season. I'm expecting, like mid-season, if he's swinging it well in AAA, I don't see a reason for them to keep him, in the PCL, just feasting down there, Yeah, the Roki posting's interesting because timing-wise, it does, I never want to speculate on things like that, but clearly I think there was a focus on if I come now, I'm going to be able to hit free agency at age 28, 29, and that's where I'll get my big bag instead of waiting, seeing how things go out there. It's a whole long recovery, and then it may throw off, the earnings at that point. And then the contract you get at that point would put you into age 34, 35. So timing-wise, obviously there's a lot of money at hand here, a lot of smart people that mold it over. And it does make you wonder, why was this the best decision for Roki to come now rather than, Duran Refractor. How about that? Come on. Garrett Mitchell Refractor. Come on now. Not bad. We're heating up. Ooh, and we got a speckle in there. I don't think that's the auto, though. Cody Hosey. He went nuts in the NECBL when I was out there. That's actually a great question. Walker Jenkins, I think it's a ton of it is projection. I think people are giving him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt on injury. No doubt, you're definitely disappointed with an 102. Let's see what this is real quick, and then I'll answer it. Oh, Trevor Larnick. Got any Twins fans in here? I'll give this one away too. Ooh! Let's go. Let's go. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. I don't think I'll be giving that one away. I'm sorry. How about Colt Keith Refractor? I'll be honest, I did buy a lot of Colt Keith and sold a lot of it after he got that extension. But now I can have one to hold on to. Let's go. It looks like it'll grade out well too. Who would have thought? Hayden Cantrell, by the way, this guy is the man. Had a nice year in AAA with the Cubs this year. Follow him subscribe to him on YouTube. If you want to get an idea of just what it's like out there, just a day in the life professionally, he puts out some awesome videos. He's a great dude, sick athlete. Five Guy is his channel on YouTube. Check him out. He's an awesome dude. Big fan of his. All right, we got 3 more packs. I'll keep answering questions though, since this is going fast. But what was so Walker Jenkins. Yeah, a lot of it is projection. I think you look at the swing too. It's so smooth and really lacks violence. And I think you can see him filling out physically. I think you can see him just getting a little bit whippier. And I think it's very easy to talk yourself into more power. Also, the fact that the approach is so good and the contact rates, Hans Kraus, and the contact rates have been so consistently solid. I think you just figure if he taps into a little bit more juice, it's really easy to see that turn into, even if it's average power, it'll be more than enough with the rest of his profile. Just Baseball broke that signing. Alazovich, where did he go? I broke it, and I don't even remember where he signed. Where did he go? I'm already forgetting. Nick Gonzalez. Lofton. There's Westberg. I was wondering where Westberg's at. Spino. G-Rod. There's a Bobby Witt. What cards have I been buying a bunch of? So I did buy a lot of Roman Anthony. It's too late now. I'm actually trying to sell a little bit just so I can keep doing stuff like this. Angel Hanao. I'm a big fan of Angel Hanao. Guardian system. I think as far as all of the fastest, like switch hitting middle infielders that the Guardians like to stockpile, I really do think that Hanao is the toolsiest and has the most potential impact wise. I think he's the most dynamic. That's the guy that I honestly have been having a good time collecting. Sebastian Walcott, even though it's not his first because they screwed that up, I do have a good time picking up his cards. I would say that's another. Ooh, Westberg Refractor. Come on now. Oh, Crochet as well. I don't know if Job's a lock to make the opening day rotation because of what we heard from Scott Harris. It just felt like either he wanted to make him feel like he was earning it, or he really is a little bit non-committal and they want to temper the innings and kind of ease him in there. Shea Langoliers. Is this numbered? Oh, that is numbered. Alex, I'm sending this to you. Alex Farrer, if you're still in here. Franchise Futures, Dax Fulton, Max Meyer. It's a 99. I was just talking about Dax today. He's healthy after the second elbow surgery. I'm really rooting for him. He's a great dude. Great dude. Alex, that's all yours, baby. DM me your address. That's all yours. Noah Schultz, I think, is. I mean, he's in the tier 1 of pitching prospects at this point. I don't think there's any question about that after what he did last year. Can we talk about what the Cardinals did in this draft? How much they nailed it? And say what you want about Jordan Walker. He's gonna have a nice big league career. They go Jordan Walker. They go Tink Hence. They go Burleson. They absolutely nailed this draft. Oh, or Alex, do you want this one as well? Yohandy Morales, I don't know what his card prices are right now, but that's a swing that I do think is a little bit of a work in progress here. I'm not a huge fan of the operation there. Jerpy is funky. I really do like the in-zone whiff numbers that guy's picking up. He's doing some impressive things there. He just can't really stay on the mound. That's been the frustrating part. Here's a sneaky card to pick up too. This guy can rake. And don't sleep on the A's, man. Do I miss Avi Garcia yet? I don't think I will ever miss that guy. I'd say about as much as I miss a migraine. Bleday would be the best player on the Marlins, buddy. All right, here's the last auto. We hope it's numbered, colored. Ooh. Oh, it's one of those draft class ones. Well, we'll see what it is. Do me a favor, go and look at this guy's walk rates. Burl Caraway. Go look at his walk rates. Ooh, there's a Jordan Walker first. There's my guy, 5 guy. Yeah, he really loved the game. Do you know he trimmed down a little bit? I'm shocked that didn't result in instant domination. Okay, what do we got here? It's going to be a pitcher. It's going to be Tanner Burns. Please don't be Tanner Burns. Oh, my God, way worse. Way, way worse. I don't even think he's an affiliated ball anymore. Anybody want this? That's brutal. I hope PMAC rakes for the Phillies. I really do. Let's go through the rest of these papers. This guy's on the restricted list. I think I don't even know what the deal is. Santos, I thought he could get taken in the Rule 5. No idea where he is now. He's going to have a sick year. Best catcher ever. No comment. Good depth. And there. Not bad. I'll take the Colt Keith. I will take the Colt Keith. That is a nice one here. That is a nice one. I'll keep answering questions. I don't know what to do with my hands here. I can just leave that part blank, I guess. But I'll give some of these away, actually, in the meantime, too. Bleday over Griff. Well, I'll tell you what. After 2025, I'll be Griff over Bleday. But Bleday playing a decent center field, man, was pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. The Marlins trading PMAC made 0 sense, but they also had no interest in playing that guy anymore. So, bizarre. Ryan Walker or Doval 2025. Ryan Walker. Doval, of course, the ceiling is higher. But, dude, Walker, you can just rely on that guy. You can absolutely rely on that guy. And, being able to go more than 3 outs, but just the crossfire delivery, I just don't see how that is ever not going to work. Whereas Doval, he's so erratic. It's inconsistent. You have the makeup concerns at times too. I would go Ryan Walker every day of the week. And, in high leverage, I want someone that's going to bring my heart rate down. I don't know if you can say that Camilo Doval brings your heart rate down necessarily. I think Brenton Doyle's a star in a different way, right? Is he going to light it up offensively to be a perennial all-star? No. but that's a star talent to me. There was 106 from the outfield. He is one of the best defensive center fielders that we got. He hits the living crap out of the ball. He flies. And it was a slow burn for him offensively. It took time for him to get to where he is. But I think he's going to continue to get better. He feasts on fastballs. He's gotten to the point where he hits breaking balls at least well enough. But with his defensive ability, his speed out there in quarters, and I don't care what you say, like, yes, the offense is amplified out there, but the defense gets suppressed. Like, the way the ball carries, how spacious it is out there, defenders always get knocked. Like, they don't get the value that they deserve. Doyle still somehow grades out incredibly, incredibly well out there. I think the splits are going to be a thing for anybody. You know, the reality is, it's not just like, hey, he can only hit at cores because of the altitude and then he can't hit outside of cores. Todd Helton was an incredible hitter. I think if Todd Helton played his entire career somewhere else, he still has a phenomenal career. Is he a Hall of Famer? I don't know. He would have had phenomenal numbers. Like, it wouldn't have been like, oh, if you take his road numbers, that's what he would have been elsewhere. I don't think that's how it works. I think that the part that kind of gets overlooked is that you have pitches moving a certain way for half of your games, right? Where ride is suppressed and break is different. And the way the ball is moving is just generally different. And then you go on the road and everything's louder and moving more crazy and has more life to it. So it's almost like you are in the hot tub and then you jump into the pool. And for everybody else, the pool may just feel like lukewarm. But for you, it feels cold because you were just in the hot tub. Like, that's kind of how I equate it, I guess. So it's just, it throws you. It's jarring. It's different. I think if you are consistently playing in those different environments, the splits wouldn't be as dramatic, if that makes sense. I didn't see that. Oh, BA put Jesus Baez in there. I mean, I know that is one of the craziest changes. It's 45 WRC plus to 97 is outrageous. And, like, again, if he gets to 110, he's easily a 6-win player. Wow, BA put Jesus Mate at 17. Man, you know I've been pounding the drum and just been talking Jesus Mate for a while now. 17 is up there, man. I get it, though. He's a freak talent. Everyone you talk to says, okay, this guy's rare. Like, the bat speed, the approach, all of the batted ball markers. He ran a chase rate below 10%. Below 10%. So I get it. I just don't know if I can put a guy in the top 20 before he plays outside of the DSL. Like, that's tough. People said that our ranking of Made was aggressive, but then I think you just start to see, and I think we had him in the top 40. You start to see what he's doing. You start comparing it to the best players that ran through the complex. You start talking to scouts. I very much can understand why Baseball America pushed him all the way up to 17. I mean, they have the best sources and resources out there, and they talk to enough scouts who were absolutely floored with what he can do. It starts to become harder and harder to put players over him. So I get it. And our update will be coming out in probably the next month, but he's going to be up there. I don't know if he'll be top 20, but I totally understand it. He's a freakazoid. I'm going to run through some more of these, like, paper that I didn't get to go through. Just hoping I got some of these, maybe crochet out of some of these. Yeah, I mean, it was sub 10 chase, by the way. It was sub 10. I'm pretty sure it was an 8% chase rate. Like, unheard of. Peter Hernandez. What was the Cole Young question again? I'm sorry. Can you ask it again? Coar, Jarvis. I'm just trying to stockpile some crochet paper. There's Hens. If he can stay healthy, man. If he can stay healthy. So I think Luis Heel should have been Rookie of the Year. Yeah, he kind of was that Ben Simmons rookie of the year, huh? Like, genuinely, if I had a vote, I I know you're supposed to just look at the rookie year in a vacuum, but it would be hard for me to do that. Like, Wells limped to the finish line, but he also caught 110 games. So it's kind of unfair to knock him for that. And he also graded out as one of the better defenders at catcher in the entire sport. And Colton Cowser played great defense in the outfield, even fielded in center field, hit the living crap out of the ball, and was one of the best players on one of the best teams in the American League. I generally would side with the position players as well. Luisio wouldn't have had my vote personally. And that might have even been without the fact that he made his debut when I was still in college. So he hit the ball harder than 103 miles per hour the last month of the season. I can check on that for you. Let me check on that for you. Okay, I know I'm good with the numbers, but I'm not that much of a freak. I don't have it like that. From from September onward, Cole Young actually did not hit one. Like, I appreciate it. I don't have that in my bag. No way. Oop, did we freeze? There we go. Okay. Said final month. Yeah, he did. He did. I can confirm. Final month, we got a 103.2. We got a 104.2. We got a 105. So there you go. 103.2, 104.2, 105. Aiden Miller, I think, is a stud, man. Absolute stud. The bat speed. He made some mechanical adjustments that really allowed him to pull the ball in the air more consistently. And I think we saw the results there where he just started to slug. The approach is good. The defense has actually come along. I still think he's best off at third base. But it's just, I think in terms of offensive profile, it could be 270, 20 to 25 home runs. Ooh, there we go. There's a Jordan Walker. 20 to 25 home runs, walks at a good clip. The big question is the defense at short, but the Phillies seem very bullish on it. I'm not, from what I've seen, but the Phillies see him way more than I do. So if they're bullish on it, like, I'll defer to them and say he can play shortstop. Every game I saw, maybe just bad day, whatever it may have been, the footwork was a little slow. The arm was a little inaccurate. But, yeah, I mean, I think he's one of the best infield prospects in baseball. I love Justin Crawford, the person, by the way. We had him on the show on the call-up. Awesome dude. Awesome dude. The makeup's off the charts. The talent is off the charts. But, hey, girl. My Jeremy's right here. But I do have a concern about the ground ball rate. There we go. There's some Jordan Westberg. I mean, he's hitting the ball on the ground like 60% of the time. He runs well. He plays good defense. Like, that stuff is great. He hits the ball pretty hard. Can he just get it in the air? The swing's kind of long. It gets a little crowded inside. If he can elevate, all of a sudden I think he's a rocket ship. But 60% ground ball rate's a little hard for me to get behind. He's got time, though, of course. It's hard to get info on guys that haven't made their pro debut yet, especially the high school guys, right? Because, college guys, unfortunately, I can dig into video, I can get some data and things like that. Now, by the way, we have a amazing new wrinkle to just baseball. Tyler Jennings, Jared Perkins, their show On the Clock is incredible, but also Tyler's draft rankings are on our site now as well, which I'm so excited about. And he just dropped top college prospects, top high school prospects, and then there's going to be a big board coming out very soon as well, with the top overall prospects, mock drafts, and like Tyler's in it, man. He's as good as they come in the industry. It was such a big get for us at Just Baseball, and I'm so excited about it. So, like, we have a MLB draft vertical now on justbaseball.com. Like, there we go. Here's a little curse, Dad. Ooh, Evan Carter on the paper as well. Very, very excited about that. It's something that we've been looking for a while. And, ooh, there's Strider. And, there's not a lot of good draft coverage in the industry in terms of, like, not a lot of good people to be able to find and hire. So once we got Tyler aboard, I was like, this is the most exciting thing we've had going for us in a while, and very pumped to add him. And I think you guys are really going to like the draft coverage there. Joe Boyle. Watch that guy hit 101 on the Cape. That was fun. I think Lazaro's, it's probably DH, man. He runs like his shoes are like 8 sizes too big. And I just don't know if he's going to move well enough to be able to really play anywhere. It's gotten to the point in right where I think he's not auto DH. Like, it's okay. It's okay. Like, and by okay, I mean, like, it's not such a liability that he is missing balls left and right, but he would grade out as probably one of the worst defenders in Major League Baseball at this point. So it's still a work in progress for sure. Yeah, now that I live down here in South Florida, ooh, Owen Casey. Talk about another card that I'm picking up a lot of. Always happy to buy some Owen Casey. Now that I'm back down here in South Florida, so many really, really good high schools around here. So some of the top draft guys that definitely, if I get some time, I'll go and check some guys out. And go to some games, relive memory lane down here. Some of our rival high schools have some dogs for sure. So it'd be fun. Oh, there's Keith. Mason Wynn. I was hoping to pull a little bit more Mason Wynn. I really was impressed with Chase Davis's finish to the year. I'll be honest, I cooled on him quite a bit. For how long he was at high A, or just not making any significant changes, I was starting to get pretty concerned. I can't lie. And then the way he kind of kicked things into a different gear and started to hit the ball really hard. There's just a Jay-Z. One of my favorite people in baseball, by the way. I was very impressed with that. I thought he clearly had something click for him, and I think he's starting to look like a solid outfield prospect again. The batted ball markers had always been there, but he's putting the ball on the ground too much, so he started elevating more, and we saw the results. I mean, he absolutely started to slug and just produce, period. I absolutely do think he makes his big league debut this year because they had to add him to the 40-man to protect him from the Rule 5. I just don't see a reason to keep him in there's Max Meyer. I don't see much reason to keep him in AAA, in the PCL where, I think his offensive numbers are going to be bolstered a little bit anyways. Like, might as well see how we can do at the big league level. If Ty Pete had a position, I would feel a lot better about him. And I think a big reason why I am more bearish on him is the fact that you have the concern offensively. You can see the tools and the potential, but you have the volatility offensively, and then you have the volatility defensively, right? Like, he's definitely not going to be in the infield dirt, and unless it's maybe at second base, and it's kind of a waste of the speed there. So you're waiting to figure out where the defensive value is, and then you still have the volatility offensively. So if he was playing a good center field, I would be a lot more bullish on him because you have the power potential. He's able to produce, I think, some pretty impressive bat speed, and he's very young still. So I would say that's a big part of it. Wait, are Ty Pete cards expensive? Look at how lanky AJ Vukovic was, man. 3-sport athlete, though. Onward. I don't know. Canario is I think at least a good platoon option. I do think he doesn't get as much love as he deserves. He's a solid big league bat. Swings and misses a little too much, but he can play a fine corner. He hits the ball really hard, and I think he can crush lefties. Is it me or are there no Garrett Crochets in here? Mitchell. Ian Seymour. Forgot he was in this draft class too. A lot of arms. Kyle Nicholas turned into a nice bullpen arm. Frustrating. The thing is like, I think Seiya Suzuki is one of the most underrated bats at this point. Like, that guy mashes. So, like, as much as I would love to see the two young guys get run, I think the only way they do that is if you have, I think, the Cubs struggling and they're sellers. And that's like the selling version of the team the second half of the year. I can't see them doing that unless they are, struggling a little bit. Kerstad, nice. I know he dropped that ball in right, and everyone's upset about that. What were the Cubs doing in the playoffs, man? Come on. I know you want to get there and everything, but come on. They did enough to hurt themselves before that drop ball on so many different occasions. It's so unfair that he gets scapegoated like that. I really think it's unfair. Like, have Cubs fans not learned at this point to stop isolating one moment? It's like with Bartman, man, like, yeah, it was a turning point. Did he kick the ball at short? Did he give up the bombs and the double and everything, then lose the subsequent game? Like, sports fans, baseball fans specifically, just love to isolate one moment and say, that was where everything changed. Like, maybe it was a turning point, but usually the sport gives you a lot of opportunities to, get yourself to where you feel like you deserve to be or need to be. I can't believe we pulled a Carson Tucker auto. Just miserable. I do think bounce back for Jordan Walker, and the big reason why is that the Cardinals are not competitive. And I think that's what he actually needed. Like, more than anything, stop ragdolling this guy back and forth from AAA. Also, sneaky good year this year coming. Dylan Dingler is going to have a 2-WAR season at least, I think. Oh my gosh. There was a point in time where you could have sold these papers for $10, $15. Speaking of a point in time where you could have sold some things, he was on the brink of top pitching prospect in baseball. PCA, let's go. Lazaro is so much younger. Lazaro is, I think there's similarities in terms of swing and miss concern and the length and everything. But Laz is a kid still, and the fact that he's been as productive as he has been at the levels that he has been at, I do think it's hard to equate the two because he has so much more time to cut down on the whiff. Ooh, there's Jared Jones. Whereas, Spencer Jones at this point, like, college bat, you're hoping that, at that point, college bat, you're hoping that after 2 seasons now, he'd be cutting down on the whiff, and I think at that point, it's a pretty big concern. It's just really high strikeout rates. No way, Rhino Fusion. What's going on, man? That is the card I want. The old Haas Radborn card where he's given the finger. I want that card. It's one of my grail cards. It's just too expensive for me. What's in Haskin? I don't need that. Schmidt was a good one. I didn't even know I had that in there. I thought this guy was going to be good. This guy I thought was going to be the best pitching prospect in baseball. Oof. At least we didn't pull. I mean, this still would have been better than Carson Tucker. I legitimately think he's out of these. I think this might be one of the most underrated Bowman, just like designs, to be honest. This guy, we just did the Pirate system. He is going to have a good year. Like, don't sleep on the improvements that he has made. What was the 2021 Giants cheating accusations again? I don't even remember that. Tibbs, I like Tibbs. I think it's a solid bat. I do think that he's going to be a platoon guy. There's that crochet that I was waiting on. I'm just trying to sorting through my favorite ones now. I do think that at the end of the day, like this swing and the way he moves in the box is going to make it hard for him to have success left on left. But I could see, the ceiling being like a Jock Peterson type of outcome. I could definitely see that. I do think Luis Angel Acuna's play moves the needle. I mean, that's a guy that we were high on. He was a top 100 prospect for us. Did I go through these already? No, I don't think I did. He was a top 100 prospect for us, and it was a shockingly bad year last year until he got up to the big leagues. And then once he got up to the big leagues, like, just clicked for him, and he looked great. But like, it's a guy that great defender at multiple spots, can play a really good second, really good short, really good, pretty good short, solid center, like super utility type, steals a ton of bags. I mean, there was a lot to like, and he really broke out the year before, and before the trade. I really do think that's a guy that is starting to play more like we've been used to seeing him play. No. What the Giants did that year was master platooning like none other. They had and in every way. They had 8 guys in the bullpen with 10 plus saves. They had what was it? 8 different hitters with double-digit home runs. They had 5 different guys with 20 in that ballpark. They just mastered platooning to the nth degree. I do think Hentz made a ton of strides last season. I really do. The concern is just health for me. Is he going to stay healthy and available? Is really it. And speaking of Hentz, there he is. Let's go. There's a reason why they've been so careful with his workload, and I do have the concern of can he handle that workload, or is he going to end up being more of a relief guy? Stuff wise, execution wise, he put it all together last year. I thought it was everything you could have wanted to see from him last season, and they did take the training wheels off a little bit. Speaking of injuries, man, this guy's just never had a chance. I really hope he can have a chance to stay healthy this year. We haven't even seen him pitch off the complex yet. Baczynski's turned into a nice reliever. Cantillo, Barnhart, Beater. Let me see Shortridge. A few more papers here. I'll answer a few more questions. Alex, Morlando might be pretty good, man. I know that would hurt the agenda, but Morlando might be pretty good. The power's pretty legit. The field of hits gotten better. There's Bobby Miller. What a weird year he had. Dabovich. There's another Tink Hentz. J-Rod. Weatherly. Maui Ahuna, I think, too much swing and miss, personally. If there was a little bit more defensive value, maybe. But I think there's just too much swing and miss there with him, unfortunately. Bobby, Dabovich. Oh, there's another crochet. Come on now. Just sifting through the paper, baby. Alex, do you want this? That's a great trade. You traded Tink Hence and Brady House for Dolander. It's an excellent trade, to be honest. I think just with the volatility of Hence and the struggles that House had last year, I mean, you're getting one of the best pitching prospects in baseball. I understand it's Colorado, but if there's a guy that can overcome Colorado, it's probably him. I think what the Reds are building is being undersold because I think people wanted to see them spend a little bit more. But I think it's a really fun and intriguing lineup here where having Matt McClain back, I mean, we're talking about a guy that was playing at an all-star level last year, right? Like, this is a dude that very, very easily could be a 4-win player next season. You bring him back, and now he can play all over the freaking diamond. Ellie De La Cruz is only going to get better. I think a guy like Spencer Steer is going to take a step forward. You didn't have Christian Encarnacion Strand the entire season. You hope that you get something from him. Jamer Candelario can't be worse. Pitching-wise, you add Brady Singer. You hopefully have a healthy Lodolo, but you also have Rhett Lauder now in the fold. I think you move Ashcraft to the bullpen. That's going to help the bullpen. I would like to see one more right-handed hitting outfielder, but they may have kind of achieved that by, having McClain kind of moving around. So, I mean, I like where they're at. And I think Gavin Lux is going to play well in that ballpark. I do. I think that power is going to finally play up a little bit more out there. So, look, I think Murakami's super talented. Don't get me wrong. But I do wonder if the swing and miss hurts his earnings potential a little bit. Like, he's got crazy power. I mean, I was at the WBC. I watched him hit a ball 116.5 miles per hour. But, like, he swings and misses a fair amount. And there's not a lot of defensive utility there either, right? Like, he's going to be a guy that is either anchoring. I don't think it's going to be third. It's probably going to be first base / DH. So he's got to really rake. I wouldn't give him more. Who knows? I could end up totally eating my words on this, but like a guy like that, I'm not giving him more than $100 million. Look at what Pete Alonso's struggling to get. Pete Alonso averages 40 home runs a season. What do you want Munetaka Murakami to do when he comes here? Maybe he's a generational talent. He hits 50. I don't know. But Pete Alonso's also already hit 50. I think Pete Alonso has better bat-to-ball skills. If Pete Alonso's struggling to get 100, I don't see Murakami getting 100. But who knows? Sometimes things blow my mind contract-wise. But look at Dodgers Michael Busch. I understand no pitcher has ever been good for Colorado, but you could make a legitimate case that Chase Dolander is the best pitching prospect in Rockies history. You would have Jeff Francis and you'd have John Gray as the other two top prospects. Pat Bailey, Groshans. Do you want this? Alex? I can give that to you. I can put it aside for you. Joe Boyle. Ooh, there's Carter. I was hoping for some Carter. There's Strider. It's kind of fun going through the papers. It's like sifting through penny stocks. Yeah, the thing with Ubaldo, though, is he was maybe a fringe top 100 prospect. And then, he had the fever dream stretch with them and then, never really could match it. That's an interesting question. I mean, theoretically, yes, they could buy somebody down from there. I don't think that would be the way that you want to do that, right? Like, you'd have to end up paying over slot for the number one pick, which already a lot of times players don't even get the full slot of the number one pick. It would be one of those situations where like you'd probably be hurting yourself more than helping yourself unless there was such a clear-cut number one pick. And at that point, you're not going to just dedicate the whole pool to it, because then, you would have to essentially, because the other team would probably be willing to match that. So, unless you have one of those clear-cut, like Adley Rutschman type of situations, even then it would create a really unique situation, but I still don't think they would be able to do it that way. That said, I think they have the best draft situation, period, if that makes sense. Like, you're going to have whoever falls into your lap in those top few picks. And then if you either save money or go full slot, you're going to have so much room to work with the rest of the draft. That's why I think it's pretty wild that the Mariners aren't, aggressively shopping. I guess teams just don't want prospects that badly right now. It's more big leaguer for big leaguer trades. But I mean, I'd be willing to pay up a little bit extra, right? Like, I'd be willing to move a Cole Young, Harry Ford, whoever, knowing that I'm about to replenish my farm, like, right after this draft. And you got to have confidence. And if you're the Mariners, like, they continue to draft well. Like, bet on yourself. I would. Hassle. The double, the TJ and the internal brace pushes me towards Skeens. I think it's a conversation if Strider had never had surgery. But even then, I think the field of pitch that Skeens has is otherworldly. This guy was the number one pick and then taught himself a new pitch. And that pitch became one of the best pitches in Major League Baseball. How is that possible? He's not human, frankly. Like, not human. Jake Groom, he is still on the ineligible list for gambling. A few more papers, a few more questions, and then I'm going to give away one of these cards, and we will probably call it a stream. I thought it was a super jumbo box, I can't lie, so I thought we'd have a little bit more time, like, in terms of ripping. But let me know if this is something you guys enjoy, minus the audio issues where I'm blowing everybody's ears out with the microphone situation. I'll play around with OBS and figure out what the deal was there. But it seems like everything was fine after that with the audio. Seems like everything was better after that point. I'm trying to pull up my notes on Sean Keys. I'm writing up every farm system right now. And by the way, if you guys go to justbaseball.com and then go to team top prospects lists, you can see everything there in terms of the dates of each team top prospect list and when it's coming out. And I think finally have a little bit more clarity for everybody on like when each of those will be coming out. And so you can know what to expect as a fan of each team. Keys. So what I have here, patient approach. Bat to ball is pretty solid. Hits absolutely feasted on fastballs. And the thing is with a guy like Keys, playing mid-major Patriot League, it's a little bit easier to feast on fastballs when the average fastball velocity you're seeing is about 89.5, which is what I think he saw. But at the same time, like, destroyed fastballs. He did struggle with off speed a little bit. And good EVs with metal kind of struggle to translate that with wood at the same degree. But I do think he's a sneaky bat. He's physical, potentially play a fine third base. And I got to see more of him, to be honest, but definitely not a bad player at all. And maybe a sneaky get. Yeah, I do want to go. There's a college tournament in Jacksonville. It's a little bit of a drive for me, but I definitely want to go up there and catch that. I'll definitely try to get out to some of the college events this season. But also, again, our guy Tyler Jennings is going to be at how am I forgetting what it's called? But one of the big invitationals out there in Dallas, and we'll have live video, or not live video, but I'll have video and write-ups and reports on a lot of the top draft prospects out there. And Tyler, man, he's been helping me with some of these team top prospect lists from the guys that have not made their pro debut yet, for just being able to get some info from him. Like, we were writing up the Pirates. He just saw Levi Sterling in person, this past spring. He was able to give me some thoughts there. I think the world of his work. So definitely, if you want to hear more about the college guys and the draft guys and things like that, follow Tyler Jennings on X. Still so weird saying X. Okay, trying to think of the best way to give away this auto. I don't even know where I put it, first of all. But this Larnach card's pretty cool. This Larnach card is pretty cool. I think I might be all out of paper to sort through at this point. We got the Burleson Refractor, Wade Refractor. I'm just sorting in terms of ones I actually want to keep versus everything else. Pearl Caraway. The irony in how some of these age, like glimpses of greatness, Andrew Vaughn, doesn't always go together nowadays. Take a couple more questions and probably call it a stream. Let me know if this is something you guys want me to keep doing, because it is really fun for me. And I want to do it with 2024 draft, because I can answer more questions about 24 draft. This is just one of my favorite products. I just wanted to rip this, except this does make it worse when you end up with one of these. But let's go through some of the hits. Also, there was no color in here. Did we notice that? I did not get one, other than that, speckle, no color. If there's any Carson Tucker fans out here, I will happily send this out to you tomorrow. So we actually I'm really excited to keep ramping up the collectibles coverage. And that's something that we have a vertical now for on justbaseball.com. Brought on a couple writers that know the hobby inside and out. I ask them questions 24/7, and they're helping me understand, how I should go about, investing in the hobby, collecting the right cards, all that good stuff. And potentially we already have worked with eBay on doing these box breaks at major events that you guys will be able to get into, right? Where I'll buy a case of, we did a case of Bowman Draft. It goes to charity. The proceeds go to charity. My best friend's family charity, which is Conan's Clubhouse, Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital. And it's a blast, right? We raise money for charity. We rip product. We hang out. We talk. And we're still figuring out the logistics of that deal with eBay. But the hope is that we'll be doing that throughout the season. And if we're doing that throughout the season, obviously we'll be ramping up the collectible side of things on here. No doubt about it. Alex, did you have a stroke? Yeah. So the goal is if the partnership goes through and everything that we'll be talking about with eBay, it would be, breaks every few weeks, like casers. I'll be ripping them. And again, proceeds go to charity. Have a blast and chase some sick cards. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So stay tuned on the Just Baseball socials. And I think the first one we would be doing would be as soon as spring training time, maybe even a little bit before that. Max Acosta is not bad. I really don't think Acosta is that bad. He had a really nice year, bounced back, pretty much hit the ball harder than he ever did before. Oh, didn't even realize I had Jordan Walker here, because I do have more cards I forgot about. Tier 1 prospects. I guess tier 1 would be guys. I'll be generous with tier 1. Let's say it's top 30 prospects. I consider Bazana, Weatherholt. I'll say top 40 just to make it easier. Bazana, Weatherholt, Cam Smith to me is a top 30 prospect. Hagen Smith, Chase Burns, I don't think the high school guys are there yet. I'd say 4 or 5. It was a lighter draft. And you know what's crazy? This coming draft might be worse. That's the craziest part. But there's still some talent. I think Caglione is right there. Kurtz is right there. It's hard, because at the end of the day, they are top 100 prospects, right? Like, if we're basing it off of this idea, and the second they sign, they are amateur prospects, or they are professional prospects. The way that I try to use the top 100 as like a tool for people is that this is how I think teams should value these 100 players who are signed to affiliated ball. Like, if you wouldn't trade player 68 for player 69. That's kind of how I always looked at it. So I feel like in that regard, you have to go about it that way. But I think knowing that and knowing that you haven't seen as much of that guy, right, like of a guy that's yet to make his pro debut, ranking him highly would kind of be a little bit disingenuous. Like, how much can you really see or compare? It's more on speculation. And the more speculation that's baked into a scouting report, the less likely I am to feel as confident about it, and the more likely I am to have them lower. So I think it's okay to rank them, but I think it's also, you have to bake in the unknown. And if you're baking in the unknown, that should drive them down a little bit. That's why, like, Connor Griffin is as talented as anybody in the top 100, but I haven't seen him play professionally, so I can't put him in the top 50. But there's no way that a player with his stature, his defensive ability, his speed, his power is not a top 100 prospect. So that's kind of the double edge of it. Great question, Mason. So I try to use examples like Jared Kelenic. Where did, like, prospects that were super highly touted, super highly touted, where did it go wrong? What did we miss? And with Kelenic, I went back and just looked at the minor league data, video, all of those things. And what I concluded from there was I think the hit tool was very much overblown. Or I would say he got too much credit hit tool wise. Where this was a guy that, I mean, when you look at the numbers and what he produced, it was very impressive, no doubt about it. But he had some more in-zone whiff on secondaries than I think people were paying attention to. Maybe 6 years ago, we weren't digging into that as much as we are now, but it's not like it was 20 years ago. It is interesting how much the in-zone whiff was overlooked. And if you look at him swinging, like, he's stiff. Like, there is some rigidness to the swing. So how was that, overlooked a little bit? I don't know. I think in the name of, getting excited about production, high school draft guy, part of a big trade, whatever it may be. But when I was looking at the data, this dude demolished fastballs and swung and missed a ton against breaking stuff, like a ton. I remember writing this down to use it as an example for, like, I love doing, like, the scouting retrospective stuff. Say, what did we miss? Where did we go wrong? And it always helps me apply it because there's a lot of players that are going to put up similar data points and all that good stuff. So, what can I learn from this? And in 2019, I have it here. In 2019, Jared Kelenic against four-seamers, 324, 401, 589. Awesome, right? Against sliders, 136, 227, 237. Against sliders and curveballs. Actually, let me just show you curveballs. 065, 139, 129. So if a guy is slashing, and this is over a sample of 500 breaking balls that he saw that year, I think between, like, high A, mostly low A, high A, maybe a little double. He slashed 111, 196, 200 against breaking balls. But we saw a cumulative slash line that was nearly at 900. He was young for the level. The swing looked great. He's pulling balls in the air. And we got really excited, right? it's easy to talk yourself into players, and you can have confirmation bias on things. And I think evaluators very much ignored the data when it came to Jared Kelenic, without a doubt. I mean, that's as big of a discrepancy as I've seen when it comes to fastball versus breaking ball. Yeah, so real quick on that, Ryan, we're funny enough, like buddies from college, but we're not that like we were friendly in college. Peter and I were closer because we were in the same fraternity, but Jack and I had class together in journalism school. So we had always been friendly, and then we played club baseball together. But it was not really ever something that I thought about. Jack and I were always going the play-by-play route. Jack's way better broadcaster than I ever was. But I was planning to go through the minor leagues, climb, do the play-by-play side of things. Jack was already doing that. Then we graduated into COVID. So I had a job broadcasting in the minor leagues. That job disappeared because I canceled the minor league season. So did Jack's. And Peter was selling tickets at the time for the Yankees. So there we go. I didn't even know I had a Westberg in here. So he kind of got screwed too. And I'd always wanted to build a baseball site. Because at that point I was hosting Locked On MLB Prospects. And I figured, I'm going to be bouncing around from team to team broadcasting wise. The podcast I was doing, Locked On MLB Prospects, Locked On Marlins. I didn't own the RSS feed. Locked On started, everything for me from a podcast perspective, and I'm forever indebted to them and the opportunities that I got there. But the idea of building a podcast that you didn't own, it was like I knew I was eventually going to leave, and so I was like, I always wanted to build my own brand. I got really into the prospect side of things and all of that, and so as I continued to fall in love with that and build up the show, I was like, man, maybe I can build a site or whatever with prospect analysis, and put it all there. And then around the same time, Peter was really pushing on he's like, man, there's so much potential for short form video and things like that. And I was like, okay, if we collaborate on this thing, it could be something special. Right around the time TikTok came out as well. And Peter was like, I'll lead the charge there. We reached out to Jack and we're like, hey, you want to do this with us? And he's like, what else do I got to do right now? Oh, I didn't realize I had the refractor here. So Jack was like, I'm in. And obviously having somebody like Jack, there's the Duran refractor, and his polish and everything on the mic was sick. And so we just started recording for fun and seeing how it went. And we're like, if it doesn't work out, we'll go back to our regular jobs and we can say we tried it and had fun. And we started putting the clips out on TikTok. One of my other good friends from Syracuse was a video editor, so he was clipping stuff there, and it just blew up there. And then people started actually listening to the show, and the show kept growing and growing and growing. We just kind of kept bringing people in, different friends in the industry or that I had met through class or whatever it may have been, and kind of built this dream team, and the rest was history. But really lucky that, how things worked out timing wise, and really lucky that, people have given us a chance. It's been really a dream come true. Derek, I 100% agree. And all I'll say is could be soon. Maybe not. I don't know. It should be soon. I think he is better than most MLB broadcasters. And that's not really a knock on MLB broadcasters. Ooh, I didn't realize Hunter Green refractor here. He should have a job soon. There are not many broadcasters that are better than Jack McMullen. I do have some friends who work in front offices, but, the only ones that I have were my high school teammates that played professionally and then retired. Otherwise, it's really hard, man. It's hard to break through there. But one of my closest buddies, he was in the Tigers organization, retired a year early so that he could pursue an opportunity in a front office. And it's worked out really nicely for him. And I'm freaking proud as hell of him because he is crushing it. And I think he's going to be a GM. And I always bug him and tell him that when you are a GM, please hire me because I would love to work under him. He is one of the smartest baseball minds I know. He was a professional catcher. So, you're switching in catcher and you get the reps and experience there. And then he's also a guy that just absolutely brilliant. you're going to have a pretty unique perspective on baseball. Mike Rothenberg is his name. He has taught me plenty, especially on the pitching front. That guy knows pitch shapes. That guy knows everything. He is the man. He was a heck of a ball player too, man. Heck of a ball player. Had a great career at Duke. So we got a few more here. Blake Rutherford. Nick Swinney. Where did this auto go? I put it down somewhere. I want to give it away. All right, Davis. Where did I put this auto? PCA over here. This guy could throw strikes, man. Be an absolute dog. Do one or two more questions. What skills and qualifications are needed in baseball today to get a front office job? I'm still learning that too, no doubt. A lot of the feedback I get is coding, which is crazy, like Python, understanding Python. I honestly think ultimately relationships and work ethic and being willing to do a lot for a little. It's a job that a lot of people want, and it's a job that I think to the point where they don't offer you a lot of pay or out of the gate, and you got to climb your way up and you got to do undesirable things. And if you're willing to do that and keep your head down and truck through it, that's a big part of it. But, I don't think you necessarily have to have played professionally or anything like that. I think that has changed a lot, but I think you have to be willing to work your butt off. And I think you have to have an understanding of analytics nowadays and on a different level. If you didn't play, especially, that's got to be your edge, right? And so I think applying analytics to real life settings, things like that, from what I understand, is that's what most front offices are looking for when you're somebody that did not play professionally in the role that you would potentially be filling. I don't know where I put the autograph here, but Clay, you want a J. Groom refractor? Here you go, Clay. I'm going to send this to you, all right? One more question, and I'll probably call it for dinner. Thank you so much for hanging out, everybody. Oh, Clay, you missed the heat. Clay, you missed the big hit, baby. 100% does not cover the cost of the box, but it's okay. It never does. Jeremiah, I will answer your Fayetteville question. I'm trying to think about that roster for this coming season. I would say, pitching-wise, he didn't have a great year last year, but Alonzo Treadwell still is an intriguing arm for sure. Anderson Brito is another intriguing arm. Crazy strikeout numbers when he got up to Fayetteville for a little bit. Bats-wise, probably Chase Jaworski has some intrigue, I would say. He got up at Fayetteville, played most of the season there last year. I think he'll probably play a little bit more there next season. And I'm trying to think about guys in the complex that could make their way up, like Ryan Furcucci. He was just drafted by the Astros. I think that was a very sneaky pick. He's got a great fastball. I assume Furcucci is going to be up there the second he's ready to go. Wainer Luciano, third baseman, will probably start the season there as well. I don't know if they'll push him right away to high A because he did struggle there, but he is still an intriguing prospect. I'm trying to think. It's a little bit thin to start the year, but I think they clearly have a little bit of a focus on replenishing that farm system a bit. I'll answer that last one. With Wellbeing, a ton. With that guy, man, like his feel to hit is so impressive. His approach is impressive. Switch hitter, decent wheels. I think, might be able to stay it short. Very good second baseman. I absolutely think if he is even adding a little bit of impact, absolute monster potential. I think that's very, very interesting. That's something to monitor. I didn't see that. Any tips in getting into baseball media? Go for it. Like what my experience here, like what I've seen is a lot of people want to get into baseball media or get into media in general, but they aren't willing to maybe consistently do it enough to actually sustainably build something, right? Like so many people try podcasts, and there's probably some people that have so much potential to have a great one. But if you're not consistently putting out a show, right, like a couple times a week, and listeners don't know what to expect, excuse my dog, there's so many options out there that, I think you have to make yourself available. That's what we did. It was like, how are we going to get people to pick us over other people? Like, I'm going to be available every single day so people can trust us and rely on us to always be there. That's one side of it. I think two is being willing to work for anyone, anywhere. I wrote for free, and it shouldn't be that way, but it's the reality of it. I wrote for free forever. I podcasted for free for a long time. Then I podcasted for very little money, and I just loved it. Like I found a way to make it work in terms of like I had another job and I did it in my free time. And again, it's just really hard. It sucks that it has to be that way, but I think just being willing to do anything and take advantage of the opportunities that you get. I think Cole Young is probably at earliest or later, like at earliest late 2025. He made his swing adjustment at the end of the year. It did yield some better results, but it also resulted in him not hitting the ball as hard. I also think there's some defensive things he could iron out. At second base, he'd be better, but like you still have to adjust and get more used to playing there more consistently. I would say probably at least second half of next season. I just think that he needs a little bit more refinement offensively, especially after just making the mechanical adjustments. I think they sent him to the fall league to try to expedite that timeline. He got hurt, so that does affect it a little bit as well. Thank you so much, everybody, for asking such awesome questions and putting up with the loud audio and everything. But it was so much fun doing this. I wish I pulled better cards, but not bad. We'll take the Colt Keith Refractor Auto. Again, if you guys enjoy this stuff, like be sure to follow Just Baseball's channels, and we'll let you know every time I'm doing these. But it was a blast answering your questions. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and listening to me just ramble for a while and watching me just go through random paper cards. But it's always so great connecting with you all. And again, really, really appreciate you guys just wanting to hang out and talk ball. Look forward to doing more of these with you all, and have a great rest of your week.